Galactic Jedis. Surprise, surprise. How's everyone doing out there? I hope you guys are all doing great. I apologize for not scheduling this in advance. I wanted to come on as a surprise. I've been actually, ever since I went on my 3-day spiritual retreat last week, as soon as I got back home, I started working again a lot. I had a lot of things that I needed to do. So that's the reason why I haven't been able to go live. I know you guys missed me last Friday, but I'm here today as a surprise, and here you guys are. Awesome. I'm glad to know that you guys are always here for me, and I want to welcome each and every single one of you. I acknowledge all of you, the Galactic Jedis. You guys mean a lot to me. My spiritual retreat was good. What I did last week on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday is that I actually unplugged. I actually got back home Wednesday evening. So back Thursday morning, I was back, it was business as usual, doing interviews, getting work done, writing, research, and so on and so forth. But my 2 days went really well. I was up in the mountains all day long by myself. I like my alone time, guys. Every now and then, I like to be a hermit. That's just in my nature. It was beautiful. I had an opportunity to connect with Mother Earth, the elements, of course, a lot of nature spirits. I had a lot of fairy interactions. The Fae are their presence is very powerful out deep in the mountains. By the way, you could really sense the love that comes from these elementals that are actually the guardians of the Telluric kingdom. And what is the Telluric kingdom? The plant kingdom, and the animal kingdom. And I did see one bear, I think, and 2 mountain lions, but they were from a distance. And they were probably from felines from Lyra, right? Looking like mountain lions because they didn't do anything wrong. They were just doing their own thing. They were watching me. I was watching them from a distance, of course. And they were about, I would say, about a little less than a quarter mile away, on the other side of the mountain, which was great. But again, we did make eye contact, and it was beautiful. So I had an opportunity to meditate. I got a lot of meditation in. I think I did a 3-hour meditation on Wednesday and about an hour and a half on Tuesday. And then the rest of the time, I was just there in the presence, looking at everything around me, the butterflies, the little bugs, all the colorful, beautiful bugs and insects that are up there in the mountains. Of course, I had to spray a lot of that anti-mosquito stuff. I didn't want to come down to the city, itching and scratching. So I did protect myself from the mosquitoes. Not to mention, I hear that Gates has genetically engineered some killer mosquitoes. They call them killer mosquitoes, right? Because they're out biting, putting viruses and illnesses in people. But again, we have nothing to worry about. I don't think that those genetically enhanced, I want to call them Gates mosquitoes, are a threat. I think that at this point our body is so resilient that no matter what poison they put in us, unknown to us, of course, through the food, through the little synthetic insects, I guess we call them synthetic insects, the chemtrails and so on and so forth, the water, I don't think it's going to affect us anymore, guys, because we are evolving. Now, I do have a topic that I want to share with you guys today. I want to talk about our junk DNA, in particular, the 12 strands DNA. But before I talk about the spiritual significance of the untapped potential, the 98, 96% of what scientists call junk DNA, this is an article from Quantum Magazine. It says, genomes hold immense quantity of non-coding DNA. Some of it is essential for life, some seems useless, and some has its own agenda. Imagine the human genome as a string stretching out for the length of a football field, with all the genes that encode proteins clustered at the end near your feet. Take 2 big steps forward. All the protein information is now behind you. The human genome has 3 billion base pairs in its DNA, but only about 2% of them encode proteins. The rest seems like pointless bloat, a profusion of sequence duplications and genomic dead ends, often labeled junk DNA. Well, that's what they think. Of course, that's what the scientists call it. We, of course, know it's not junk. So it says, this seemingly thriftless allocations of genetic material isn't limited to humans. Even many bacteria seem to devote 20% of their genome to non-coding filler. Many mysteries still surround the issue of what non-coding DNA is and whether it really is worthless junk or something more. Portions of it, at least, have turned out to be vitally important biologically, but even beyond the question of its functionality or lack of it, researchers are beginning to appreciate how non-coding DNA can be a genetic resource for cells in a nursery where the new gene can evolve. So scientists casually refer to junk DNA as far back as the 1960s, but they took up the term more formally in 1972, when the geneticist and evolutionary biologist Susumu Ono used to argue that large genomes would inevitably harbor sequences passively accumulated over many millenniums that did not encode any proteins. Soon thereafter, researchers acquired hard evidence of how plentiful this junk is in genomes, how varied its origins are, and how much of it is transcribed into RNA despite lacking the blueprints for proteins. Technological advances in sequences, particularly in the past 2 decades, have done a lot to shift how scientists think about non-coding DNA and RNA. Cells use some of their non-coding DNA to create a diverse menagerie of RNA molecules that regulate or assist with protein production in various ways. The catalog of these molecules keep expanding. All right, so this is according to science. Now, if we then look at what the spiritual significance of the non-coded strands, or what they call the junk DNA, and we compare it to how there are 10 strands that are temporarily disconnected, right? We're using only 2 helixes. Technically, we have 12. 10 of the strands, which marks 96% of our genome, right? They call it junk. Well, let's just read about what the spiritual, the metaphysical perspective of these strands and their connection to the photon belt. By the way, for those that don't believe that the planet is also ascending, all right, there is this phenomenon called the photon belt, all right? It is a high monastic energy field within the universe that our solar system and our galaxy enter at the end of every cycle. So I just wanted to point out there that there is such a thing known as planetary ascension, okay? I just wanted to point that out. So yeah, ascension is a two-way thing. It's an inner journey, something that we all must undergo, right? Personal ascension. But every now and then at the end of the great cycle, right, they call it the Platonic here, we have what is called the stellar activation cycles, which allow planet Earth to return back to the golden age. So planetary ascension is very real. I just wanted to point that out there. All right, so let's read about the recoding the 12 strands DNA sequence and entering into the photon belt. All right, so this was written by Trey, see if I can read his last name, Abernethy. Trey Abernethy. Okay, so this is what it says. Medical science has established that we have 2 strands of DNA and 10 strands of junk DNA, but they have not understood the purpose of that junk DNA. Recent information has revealed its higher purpose, supporting a multidimensional consciousness, our natural state. Realigning, reconnecting, and activating our 10 strands of junk DNA, aka the DNA recording or RRA process, is the process by which we attain this state. When we are multidimensional, our psychic abilities are reawakened and we have developed a second neural network at the etheric level. I agree with that. Perfect sense. Because the 96% of our genome that is currently not coded is what? It's crystalline in structure and hydroplasmic, which makes a lot of sense. But here, which ties us or connects us right back to the ether, so the etheric level of reality, right? Which we call other dimensions. This second neural network is what allows us to live in multiple dimensions at once. See? Makes a lot of sense. Can we hear, see, and communicate with others in these dimensions? There are 9 levels in the DNA recoding process, and each required emotional clearing at the level that activates the thymus to change the coding sequences of our DNA. Makes a lot of sense. Recoding in this instance means switching on the 44 DNA codes that were previously switched off. You should liken it to remodeling your body at the cellular level while still living in it. The DNA recording process, let me read that again. The DNA recoding process works at the etheric, some call it the light body level. At this level, your 10 strands of junk DNA, along with your 2 connected strands, are realigned above your crown. Because DNA is holographic, it can be simultaneously realigned, reconnected, and activated. This means that your junk DNA strands are simultaneously realigned at the top of your head, which is above your crown chakra, reconnecting it into your 12 crown chakra crystals and reactivated so that life force energy flows through them again. Once your 12 DNA strands are plugged back into your 12 crown chakra crystals, your genetic engineers and recoding guides' jobs are nearly complete. They will continue to watch over and monitor your 12-strand reconnection until you reach the frequency needed to fully activate the reconnection. The activation of the 12 strands happens in 3 steps. This is interesting. So the activation of the 12-strand DNA happens in 3 states, according to this article. The first state is the activation of the crown crystals, which is right here, right? It's part of the crown chakra. You will feel this as an itching at your crown chakra, not the same as dandruff itching. It's a different type of itch, they say. The second step is activation of the Merkaba antenna, which is our light body. The Merkaba antenna is used to receive messages from other dimensions. Every ancient culture talked about the light body, known by different names. Typically, the term Merkaba comes from the old Kabbalistic, mystical Judeo-Christian tradition, but the Egyptians called it the Ka body, and I believe that the people from Tibet and India called it the rainbow light body. It's all one and the same, right? Light body, Merkaba, Ka, rainbow. All right, so the third step in activation of the activation of the hypothalamus. This is the universal translator and translates all messages into your chosen language. Messages are received as frequency thought forms. Many are complete with emotions, pictures, and language. Some have only 2 or these. The hypothalamus also provides you with the identity of the sender. You will learn to identify the sender after receiving for a while, which explains telepathy, picking up information from other realities or other realms. As soon as, of course, we plug in or we reactivate our other strands. See, I've always believed that the other strands is what reconnects us to the other dimensions. And the reason we have 12 strands is because there are 12 dimensions in our known universe, which makes a lot of sense. But of course, some of us come in with 24 strands and 30 or 36 strands, and even fewer of us come in with 48 strands, by the way, which reconnect us to dimensions beyond our galaxy or our local universe, which is awesome. All right, you will learn to identify the senders after receiving for a while. Once the hypothalamus is activated, the RRA process is complete, and your DNA chart is also completed. Proof is visual aura photos, emotional, not holding negative emotions in the body, and physical, feeling more in control of your power and hearing messages daily. Because so many people will be requesting DNA recoding, it has been designed as a self-actuated process. You'll receive off-world assistance from a genetics engineer. These are normally beings from Sirius A. You will also be giving a DNA recoding guide to see you through the process. Earth-based free assistance is provided via the Nibiru Council, forum as Yahoo groups. It's a very active group where readers go to help in moving through the process. All right, so they did mention the Nibiru Council. And again, as revealed in my book, I do talk about how Marduk, the son of Enki, was disposed from the Nibiru Council in 1999 and has been replaced and is no longer in control of the planet Nibiru. So the planet Nibiru, hence the Nibirun Council, is under the jurisdiction of the Syrian High Council. Awesome. Which ties in with this article. So our entire solar system and the Milky Way galaxy has now entered a highly charged portion of space. We are immersed within the photon belt. For those that are arguing that there will be no planetary ascension, that it's just an individual job, this is the proof that this is an event that takes place every 26,000 years, right? Our planet goes through this monastic field of highly charged particles in space that transmutes all negativity and exalts all righteousness, right? Exalts is another term describing our upgrade into full conscious beings. So let me continue. This is very fascinating. So we are immersed within the photon belt, which is a monastic field of radiation, a period of intense light we first entered in the late 1990s. Oh, that's very interesting. Well, it makes a lot of sense because in 1987, that's when we had the harmonic convergence, which was when spiritual scientists realized that we were entering a high frequency region in space, right? As our solar system revolves around the galactic core, and then in turn our galaxy with other galaxies revolve around the central core of our universe. Makes a lot of sense. All right, let's continue. So we are immersed within the photon belt, a period of intense light that we first entered in the late 1990s, in which we will remain for a period of 2,000 years. During this remarkable time, the energies from the photon belt are triggering a complete reordering of life as we know it. This occurs because photon light energy has the capacity to lift all of life into a higher frequency dimension as it carries the seeds for the enlightenment of all. The atomic structures within the cells of our bodies are slowly retuning themselves to match these rising frequencies. We are shifting from a third-dimensional carbon-based body, from one that matches the atomic frequency and spin of the carbon, to a fifth or higher dimensional crystalline body or light body, which is one that matches the atomic frequency and spin of the crystal. So to the bodies of animals, see, for all of those that are asking if their pets are going to be ascending, like I said, even the animals are going up, right, in dimensions. So too the bodies of animals, plant life, and all upon and within the earth are making this transition, as is our entire galaxy. Bingo. Oh my God. See, this article agrees. I've been talking about galactic ascension ever since I came to the scene over a year and a half ago. I've been talking about how what's happening here is bigger than just a planetary ascension, but it has a lot to do with the restoration of the Milky Way galaxy, because even the Milky Way galaxy was severed from the original, dimensions where it existed prior to its fall. So this makes a lot of sense. So our entire galaxy, according to this document, is ascending at this time, which is awesome. All right, so as the process of rebuilding our light bodies continues, we will slowly begin to notice the effects of becoming fully conscious or multidimensional. This state will come about when our 12 strands of DNA have finally been refused, reconnected, and activated. We will then experience life within the consciousness of multidimensionality. In this level of consciousness, we could live in the third dimension while retaining our connection and relationship with beings in the higher realms. Well, that's fascinating, right? Because a lot of people ask me, well, is the third dimension going away? Well, perhaps this, corrupted version of the third dimension is going away, but the first, second, and third dimensions, that's what connects us to the lower densities. It has to exist. It continue to exist even after the ascension. But the beauty of it all is that our consciousness isn't going to be just locked into the third dimension. We're going to be able to go into multi-dimensions and operate different avatars, right? So that makes a lot of sense. And then through our will, we're going to be able to what? Dissolve our consciousness. We're going to be able to pop into any lower density we choose to, which is exactly what this article says. All right, so let me continue. In this level of consciousness, we could live in the third dimension while retaining our connection and relationship with beings in the higher realms. We will no longer be cut off from other dimensions as we presently are, and we will operate from a state of heart-centered compassion, which is also known as Christ consciousness. This will happen regardless of which dimension we find ourselves inhabiting. Eventually, we will learn how to live successfully in a galactic society and ultimately in a universal society. I love this. At the present time, most humans have two active strands of DNA, represented by the intertwined double helix. Some persons have developed and integrated three or more. I've talked about this before, guys, how there are people out there who are already using 3 or 4 strands of DNA. Case in point, a lot of the children that are coming in. Why do you think all that stuff isn't affecting them anymore? You know, all the I want to use the word drugs, right? The chemical drugs that they give these children who are labeled, high functioning autism or low functioning or ADHD. They keep drugging them up. It's not affecting them anymore because these children are already coming in with an inbuilt 3rd and 4th strand of DNA. So I'm almost done with this article and I'll take some questions. So where am I? Oh, there we go. So at the present time, humans have 2 active strands of DNA represented by an intertwined double helix. Some people have developed and integrated 3 or more strands, and a large number of new babies. Oh, I love whoever wrote this article is on the same wavelength as me. Presently being born, the crystal children have many strands of active DNA, right? That's why I believe that the children are getting a free ride in the Ascension during this planetary ascension cycle that we are all undergoing. Each of the 12 strands represents one of the 12 aspects of multidimensional consciousness. The DNA strands represent and governed by the physical body. Another 3 are concerned with the emotional body, another 3 with the mental body, and the remaining 3 with the spiritual body. Makes a lot of sense. All of these aspects are represented in our bodies as new neural pathways to the brain. They are connected and nourished through the endocrine system of ductless glands. Makes a lot of sense. These glands work in tandem with the energy vortexes within our bodies known as the chakra systems. When all neural pathways are working freely with our chakra systems, they will provide the conduit to the higher realms, resulting in our experience of multi-dimensional consciousness. This is so 100%. This is so dead on, so accurate. So, God, and it goes on into the chakra systems, which are points of energy that exist within our etheric body, our energy vehicles. Let's see, is there anything important here to read about the chakra system? All right, so I'm gonna read a little bit more about the chakra systems because it's very important to understand about and learn more about our energetic double, right? Which is pretty much our etheric body. And so it is believed that the chakra systems are actually existing as a midpoint between the etheric body and the physical body, which makes a lot of sense, right? If they are connected with certain, glands like hypothalamus, the high heart chakra, the thymus gland, the pituitary gland, you name it. I think it's all interconnected, guys. So the chakra systems, we live in a universe propelled by the laws of electricity and magnetism, and all third dimensional life forms within it reflect this. Our stars and planets, which are geomagnetic life forms, all have a north pole and a south pole. Did you guys hear that? That our stars and planets, including the life forms, including us, we all have a north pole and a south pole, and we all have an electromagnetic field, right? For all those people who believe that the earth is flat, how would you negate the fact that the earth has a north pole and a south pole, right? Where energy is going up in a toroidal field, creating what? A dove-shaped electromagnetic field and coming back down the south way. And because that's how energy works. It's a funnel at the center of the earth that's causing it to spin. All right, for all those flat earthers out there. All right, so let's continue. With the top of our head, where am I? So our human bodies, biomagnetic life forms, also conform to this bipolar magnetic field, with the top of our head reflecting our north pole and the sole of our feet, our south pole. In a third dimensional representation, these lines of force moving between our head and feet completely encompass the body within an etheric structure known as a tube torus. Tube torus. Imagine this duff nut shaped, I love that word, duff nut, shaped energetic field extending fully around your body. It is called your aura. Have you noticed that when we meet another person for the first time, you may be instinctively drawn to them? This could be evidence that both of your auras are vibrating in sympathetic resonance. Makes a lot of sense. Like attracts like. The same would be true when the presence of another feels uncomfortable. Perhaps the electromagnetic energies in your auras are repelling each other. At the center of each bipolar magnetic field is a magnetic core running from north to south. In the case of a simple bar magnet, it is a magnetized piece of metal. In the case of the biomagnetic human body, it is a channel, only observable in subtle matter, called the pranic tube. Within this core, the life force is carried to sustain each individual creation during its existence. Every spiritual tradition identifies and acknowledges the life force, that great field of potential that gives rise to and then sustains each and all in existence from moment to moment. In Chinese spiritual teachings, the life force is called qi, or ki, increasing the life force, while the Japanese and Koreans call it ki, and Reiki, healing within the life forms. In the Indian and Tibetan traditions, it is identified as prana. The Christian traditions name this life force, signifying it as grace. I call it the Holy Spirit of Christianity. I guess it could be the same thing as grace. Practitioners of the New Age spirituality refer to this field as the light or the white light. And to the physicist, it is known as the subatomic or quantum field. At this time, the life force is also being intensified and expanded by the photon belt, right? That's true. As we are merging every day more so and more so into this photon field, it seems like all the planets are heating up at the core, right? So of course, many people who are uneducated regarding this phenomena are going to take it as global warming, but it's not the case. It's that the vibrational field of the planet is increasing due to the fact that the planet is in the photon, it's emerging into the photon field. So, as you move among members of people going about their business in a large city, you can notice and identify many of those who are suffering from a diminished access to the life force. It shows in their state of health, their sense of openness and self-confidence, and even the way they relate to others and carry themselves. We must all access the life force fully and completely to maximize its benefits to our daily existence. Our chakras system is the vehicle that has been beautifully designed to fulfill this function. Okay, so that was fascinating, guys. That was fascinating. So I guess they call it I called it the torsion field, right? The tornado field, right? That is reflected on every level of reality. We see it at the center of universes, right? As the spin, emanating universal life force, sustaining billions of solar systems. We also see it at the center of every galaxy. There's a torsion field, right? So everything's like a duff nut, right? Every living body in existence is an electromagnetic field, or we could say it's emanating this electromagnetic field, and then all the way down to stars. Stars are also spinning, right? Stars have a electromagnetic field, like a torsion field, you know, coming out of the north pole of the star and coming under the south pole, and then of course, you know, generating all the way up. And then of course we see it in planets. Planets are also torsion fields, and then of course we are minute torsion fields, right? And the more universal life force or life energy, prana, we are able to generate through our chakras, through our light body or our etheric body into the physical body, the more we expand our aura. Makes perfect sense. So with that in mind, I know I went on a tangent here, but I mean, this is like very significant to understand, very paramount information regarding, you know, the true nature of energy, planetary ascension, the supposed junk DNA, and how these strands that are currently unplugged are really the key in unlocking us into the multidimensional reality that we exist in. So how is everyone? Now I'm going to take some questions. So now I'm going to take some questions. I hope you guys are doing awesome. I know it's been a week. I missed you guys, by the way. It's been a whole week since I've been on. I also want to welcome, if we have any new people on the live, I want to welcome all the newcomers. Thank you so much for being here, and happy Monday. Is it Monday? Yes, it's Monday. You know, that's when you know that you are no longer living in the third dimension or the fourth dimension of time and space. It's when you no longer keep track of the day, or when you no longer know what time it is. That's when you know you are no longer living in the third dimensional construct, right? So it is Monday. All right, so let's answer some questions. Throw them at me, guys. I'm here for you guys. Oh, and by the way, I'm going to try something different. I'm going to try to interview real people who have had genuine, real experiences with, you know, the supernatural, the paranormal. They've seen UFOs. They've encountered Sasquatch. I'm going to try to do more interviews with real people who have had real paranormal experiences, so that way, you know, they could share their whatever it is that they experience with the galactic Jedis here. So I'm going to try to take a different approach in the near future to come. And also my book tour, guys, it's still set. I think I mentioned the dates. I'm actually going to put the link as soon as I'm done with this. I'm going to put the link here in the description. And for those that have no clue of where I'm going to be, I'm going to kick off my book tour at the closure. What is it called? Stairway to the Stars Disclosure Fest on the 10th, 11th, and 12th in Vegas at Luxor. But I'm only going to be there Saturday, the 11th and 12th. Because I don't have anything going on Friday there. Technically, I don't have anything going on Saturday, but it's best that I get there on Saturday so that I could have a good night's rest, because the next day on Sunday, on the 12th, I'm going to be speaking on two panels. I'm going to be speaking on the AI panel. I love speaking on the AI panel, especially when there are people out there that are pro AI, and AI could help us connect to God and help us in our spirituality. I'm like, that's bogus. There's no way that an AI system could help us evolve spiritually. That's something that has to happen from within. You can't depend on a machine to help you evolve spiritually. But anyways, I'm going to be on the AI panel as well as on the Ascension panel with Deborah Gusti. And I believe Sunday evening at 6:30, I'm going to break down the entire cosmic structure, the 15-dimensional time matrix, the cosmic and galactic history of the Earth, and much more. It's going to be a 2-hour presentation, guys, PowerPoint presentation. For those that go to the Luxor, I'm really going to take it to the next level. All right, and oh yeah, and then following Luxor, I'm going to be heading to Utah. I believe the Utah one is almost sold out. We might have a few more. One second here. We might have some tickets left. Let's see. Oh, here we go. Okay, so as a reminder, guys, that I am going to be in Salt Lake City, Utah on the 14th of November. Again, I'm going to go ahead and put the link for those that want to book the event. So on the 14th, I'm going to be in Salt Lake City. On the 16th, I'm going to be in Denver, Colorado. I'm still doing Kansas City, even though I feel like it's in the middle of nowhere. Hey, who knows? Maybe Dorothy and the Wizard of Oz characters will come. So that's going to be on the 18th. Kansas City on the 18th. And then St. Louis, Missouri on the 20th of November. 20th of November, St. Louis, Missouri. And then I'm heading over to New York for the 27th, to Smithtown, New York, 27th of November. And then Farmingdale, I think that's New Jersey, or it could be New York. Farmingdale on the 28th of November. And then on the 4th of December, I'm going to be in Boca Raton, Florida, on the 4th of December. And then on the 6th of December, I'm going to finish off with Naples, Florida. So I'm trying to get at least a couple more states in between. And if I do, I'll let you guys know. So with that, now let's answer some questions. I just want to welcome everyone that's here. Well, I see Linda Anderson. I see Jennifer Ann, Radiant Guardians, Fire, Water by Design, Earth Angel 444, Cosmogrow, Eleanor 1133, Mariana. Who else is here? Tony Lopez, Elizabeth, Namaste. Who else is here? Dawn. Maestas is here. Cowell as well. Earth Angel, I've already mentioned her. Let's see. Leela Mauchu, thank you for being here. Lay Star's here. Jamie's here. Is it P.A. Rojas or Pla Rojas? And then Jilly Harmony's here. Who else is here? Joe Diaz is here. Info Prism. Well, instead of going down through everything, I want to just thank all 465 people that are on the live for being here today. How are you guys doing? I know, guys, it's been a week. And yes, I did miss you guys. I love doing these chats, these lives. It's great to be here with you guys today. All right, so what question can I answer first? So again, I started from the top down, so that way I don't miss anybody. Let's see. All right, so Lee Star says, lots of ringing in my ears here lately. That's for sure. Yeah, that's there's a lot of spiritual significance to that, Lee Star. Several things. Your guides, your ancestors, your spirit team. They're trying to somehow intuitively guide you, or they're trying to communicate something to you. So I would probably try to be very receptive as to what they have to say. Yes, the animals are coming with us, says Earth Angel 444. Let's see. All right, so Jilla Harmony says, in understanding sympathy and trust, abounding no more falsehoods or derisions, golden living dreams of visions, mystic crystal revelation. I like that. I like the way that sounds. Let's see, any questions? Oh, yes. Thank you for the reminder, Radiant Guardians. Please remember to smash the like button. I greatly appreciate that. Let's see. Yes, exactly. Info Prism says, love it when science agrees with explaining spiritual stuff. Well, that's another indicator that we are ending the end of a long dark age and that we're about to experience or enter the golden age. Because it is during the golden ages where science and spirituality are two sides of the same coin, including philosophy. They're all interrelated, It's only during a dark age where those fields of study seem to be separated and at odds. But in actuality, guys, it's all one and the same. It's all one and the same. Elizabeth Hutchinson, thank you so much for the donation, sister. So your question is, there are people witnessing two suns all over the world. Your thoughts on that? Thank you. Well, that is Nibiru, guys, the brown dwarf star, known by different names. It is also known as Nemesis, and it's got its own satellite systems and its own little group of planets that are revolving around it. Now, technically, Nibiru is piloted. And it is believed that after we defeated Marduk in 1999, not we as in, but the Guardians, I guess us in higher dimensions. Yeah, that is we. What am I saying here? The Syrians and the Paladorians were able to restore the Council of Nibiru, and so that's why Nibiru is back on track to our solar system. And many people are seeing these two suns. So what we're seeing here is the return of Nibiru. And the Bible calls it wormwood. In the book of Revelation, it is mentioned in the Bible, by the way, in other texts, religious texts. It's known by different names. And in the Christian Bible, they call it wormwood, the return of wormwood. In the Hopi prophecy, it's known as the return of the red star Shekinah. And then, of course, the blue star Shekinah is that our solar system is going to be restored back into the Sirius star system as it becomes replaced at the center. So that's what people are seeing. When they see two suns, they're seeing the twin pair of our own sun, which is what is it called? Nibiru, wormwood, the red Shekinah, the brown dwarf star. It's known by various names. And then we also have Michael. Hey, Michael, thank you so much for the donation, brother. And then we have the new human Saint, or is it 5T? The new human. The new human 5D. I think that's what you're called. Thank you so much for the donation and for the number 1. Ishmael, I had a deja vu of the Great Solar Flash on the September 23rd, 2023. Dejas are because of timeline wars, right? With that said, Solar Flash should be happening next year on September 23, 2024. Okay, so let's take it back to the first part of the question here. So you had a deja vu about a solar flash that took place on the 23rd of this year. That's very fascinating. Yes, definitely deja vus are experiences that I guess that we witness that we've already been there before. You know, something that sounds or seems familiar, something that we've done already, you know. So perhaps you are having visions of the great solar flash that is coming. I mean, there's a lot of speculation around that. You know, deja vu could also mean that in a parallel Earth, you are witnessing the solar flash. I don't know, we could go anywhere with this, but I like the fact that you say that perhaps September 23, 2024 could be the day. Well, I've always believed that sometime between now and the end of 24 would be a solar flash, so we'll see what happens. But yeah, that's very, very true, you know. It's going to happen, but nobody knows the date or the time. But what we do know is that it's going to happen. Yeah, deja vu is a common thing that a lot of us go through. You know, I'm sure a lot of you guys have your own experiences of deja vu. It happens a lot, especially if you're a starseed. Because why? Because we've already done this before, guys. This is, you know, this is nothing new. Remember, we are system busters. Let's see. So I'm looking for questions. We have... Yes, Rick says, giants are making themselves known on the surface of our world. Again, that is true, yes. There are negative giants or evil giants, and I don't know how you guys want to take this, but there are also positive, benevolent giants, all right? Not all giants are evil. But the evil ones have been resting in stasis, in some sort of chamber for thousands of years. And those are the ones that are part of the entourage of Enki, by the way. Yes, we have the negative giants that are related or associated with the Cabal families, by the way. A big one is over in the state of, I believe, is Ohio. Ohio, there is a huge, in a cave, I believe, there is a huge giant there that has been sleeping for thousands of years. And yes, you know, the powers that were do everything they can to cover all this information up. So a lot of the giants that have been, I guess, made themselves known. A lot of the giants that had made themselves known, I believe have been, I want to say shackled, imprisoned. And some of them have been killed, actually, by the way. Again, because our military cannot distinguish between the good giants and the bad giants. So every time they see a giant, they just kill it. Or they capture it and then they study it. Yes, we will soon become forever youthful and perfect, an immortal body. That is so accurate. Thank you for pointing that out, Rick Caruso. All right, so Lee Star says, where can we find this article? So what I'll do at the end of the live here, I'll go ahead and type out the link of the article. You guys could, go ahead and hopefully find it through your browser. So I'll go ahead and put the link or the name of the article. Yes, there's more that I couldn't read because it just keeps going and going. It goes deep into like each chakra, each strand of DNA. I mean, maybe on the next live I'll read that part. But yeah, it's a very fascinating and very interesting article. A lot of the stuff that I've read in this article definitely resonates with me, and a lot of it I've actually mentioned over the years. So whoever wrote this, we're on the same wavelength. Patricia Fearless, she says she's coming down from the mountains, so she may lose contact. I applaud you for going to the woods, for going to the mountains, for spending time with nature. I hope each and every single one of you guys, finds time to spend with Mother Earth. Excuse me. But yeah, it felt really good to, unplug, especially from social media, my phone, and from just society in general. Again, guys, I'm drinking spring water. It's called Mountain Valley. It is the best. I drink it from a glass so I don't get the contaminants that come from plastic bottles. It's not beer. It looks like a 40 ouncer of Mickey's, but it's not beer. I don't drink. I stopped drinking 20 years ago, by the way. All right, so this is an interesting question from, is it Pia Rojas? You're saying, Ishmael, some people think that some extra dimensional shops, like as in stores, are going to take some people with them. But the idea is that every person has to develop his consciousness and ascend into the 5th or 16th. I don't know if I quite understand your question. But interdimensional shops, that's interesting. I don't know if I understand that question. So I'm going to continue and see if I can find another question. Let's see. Well, the story behind the rings of Saturn is that long, long ago, when our solar system was fully inhabited, all 12 planets, including Nibiru, that there was a great civilization on Saturn, a civilization that existed for some quite time, and due to this war that took place in the earliest phase of our solar system, when we were still, I think, during the first seeding, there was a huge nuclear, destruction that took place, or explosion that took place on planet Saturn. And so what those rings are, they're just left debris. They're left debris because it is believed that these ancient cities that existed on Saturn were made out of some aluminum crystalline type of structure. And so when the civilization on the surface of Saturn blew up, a lot of that crystalline aluminum, whatever it is, fabric, was captured by the rings of Saturn. And so they just kind of, they became different colors and different debris of the crystalline structures that existed perhaps millions and millions of years ago. And so that's how Saturn developed its rings after a huge war that took place on planet Saturn. And then, of course, we know that Saturn has always been used by the Black Sun cult, right? The Black Sun cult, which is who the dark side is, the energies of the Antichrist, the negative ETs, the NNA, and, of course, the negative AIs, the Black Sun cult. All right, so Eva Marie Thompson has a question. She wants to know, all right, she's saying that her husband died last year, and you want to know if he's coming back physically to live with me on the new earth after the ascension. Thank you for all you do. Yes, I've mentioned this before, and I'll say it again. Eva Marie, your husband is already waiting for you in the 5D earth, or in the new earth, which is really the old earth. Again, for those that watched my live last week, I talked about how this current reality construct, which was a simulation created by a ancient AI that was in place by Belial, what's his name, Enki, is coming to a collapse. And when this current reality structure collapses, that's how we're going to be returning back to the Terra Earth. Terra Earth has never left. It's just that we've been, you could say, we've been shielded through this veil of illusion. We've been prevented from accessing the Terra Earth. But as soon as this false reality collapses, the veil is going to be lifted, and we're going to be in the new Earth. So yes, your husband's going to be waiting for you there. All right, so thank you, Joyful, for your generous donation, sister. I appreciate that. You do have a question. Ismael, so nice to see you. Likewise, sister. Will medbeds be available before 5D Ascension? My mom needs one bad. If so, when do you think? Well, this is a very interesting question because I don't know how the chain of events are going to take place, whether we're going to have some sort of, EBS disclosure and then the solar flash, or we're going to have the solar flash, which is going to initiate the EBS, the fall of the cabal, and then the disclosure and the restoration of advanced technologies back to the earth, or healthy technologies. I don't know exactly how the chain of events is going to take place, but what we do know is that the Earth Alliance and the White Hats have been manufacturing these medbeds in mass number, as if they're getting ready to just bring them out to the public any day. But before they do so, we have to have EBS. We have to, witness the fall of the cabal, and of course, disclosure, and the reintroduction of advanced zero-point energy technologies back to the human world. So, people, from what I'm hearing, I don't want to put any more dates, guys, but it seems like we're getting closer to that day. That's all I'm going to say. We're getting closer and closer to the EBS, the disclosure, the new financial system, and of course, the med beds and all of these wonderful technologies that are just waiting for us to use. But again, if you're going into the fifth dimensional Earth, you're going to be your own med bed. Med beds are only going to be used in the 4th Earth for the Earth Terrans that are going to not be going to the 5th. So if you're going into the 5th Earth, you won't need any med bed. You won't need any free energy device, replicators, whatever. You're going to be your own. At that point, we're going to be using our light body to manifest anything we want, anything at will, travel at the speed of light, go into, any dimension, any density, and so on and so forth. But yeah, it is believed that any day now, we are going to witness the fall of the cabal, which in turn will allow the Earth Alliance to restore, the real technology back to the Earth. A technology that was once used in ancient times, right? It's like we've been going backwards, but now we're coming back full circle. It is part of the prophecies, Joyful. It is part of the prophecies. Just, have your mom be there for her as much as you can, and just hope for the best. All right? We will pray for your mom. We will pray for her. If you want to pop her name in the chat, we'll put her in our prayers so that way she could, get to experience what a medbed is before anything. This is a very interesting and accurate. Mary Jean G says, clearing the chakras and subsystems shall grant us access to the 13th frequency key to get to the 50. For those that don't know what the 13th frequency key, that is the key of absolute love and compassion. It is the most powerful energy and force in all of existence. It is the glue of all realities, which is ultimately held together by unconditional love. So that is so true. The more we clear our chakras and subsystems, and I guess the next question would be, how do we clear our chakras? How do we clear our chakras and our subsystems? Very simple, guys. Go within yourself and access all your wrongs, anybody that's ever wronged you, anybody that's ever done anything bad to you, and forgive them. And then also forgive yourself for anything that you might have done to yourself. So it's all about forgiving. It's all about clearing emotional debris and ultimately not holding on to any negative emotion. Because again, according to the Hawkins scale of of consciousness, you want to be at a high frequency through positive, positive elevated emotions, okay? So the best thing to clear up our chakras in our etheric body is by doing emotional clearing. And then we become less dense, which allows the light, the photon light, to be more so absorbed by our cells when we do that, when we clear everything, do all the forgiving, forgive yourself, forgive everyone who's ever wronged you, see everyone as your brother and sister, and trust me, your frequency is going to go skyrocket high. You're going to be powerful. Your auric field, right? Your torsion field, because you're a torsion field, we've already established that, right? It's just going to expand the more you do so. I don't know why I'm looking choppy on the screen here. I have like really good camera in front of me. I'm at the studio. I shouldn't be looking choppy, pixelated. Okay, so Sandy, thank you so much for the donation. And your question is, do you know if Trump will be taking over Speaker of the House before the presidency? Well, that's what rumors are saying, that 45 might become the Speaker of the House, guys. So if that is the case, we know that we know that Sleepy Brandon is not going to be able to, hold his position anymore. He's going to be taken out. If that is the case, which I hope that is the case. So yeah, rumor has it that 45 Pontiff, let's call him Pontiff, is going to become the Speaker of the House even before the election, even before the, next November. So I hope that's the case. you guys are funny. I'm reading some of your chat. I'm just looking for questions. Again, guys, at the end of the chat here, I will go ahead and put the link, or at least the name of the article that I was reading earlier. Think about it. For what? Over 1,000 years, under the control of the Catholic Church, medieval Europe, the Dark Ages, they imposed the idea that the earth was flat. So why would we believe in something that the enemy holds true, face value? Of course, until Copernicus and Galileo Galilei proved them wrong. But if for over 1,000 years we were under the control of the Roman Church, right, before the Renaissance, before the scientific revolution, they believed that the earth was flat. And this was a belief system that was imposed by the Roman, clergy. So Rome being the second Babylon, the whore of the earth, right? The seat of Satan, Marduk, by the way. Why would we believe the concept of the flat earth resurfacing once again in a time when the truth should, is supposed to be revealed, right? The truth is supposed to be revealed during these times because of the times that we're living in. So I believe, guys, that it's part of the PSYOPs. It's a CIA PSYOPs, right? To first of all debunk the secret space program and breakaway groups, and the idea that we do live in a cosmos that is teeming up with life, trillions of galaxies in our universe. Alone in our galaxy, over 400 billion solar systems. Think about it, because the whole premise of the flat Earth is that the galaxies aren't real, the stars aren't real, and there is no space. It's just us. It just makes no sense. Okay? If that were the case, that would totally debunk all the new evidence coming forward from cutting-edge science, quantum physics, superstring theory, gravity theory. All the new evidence telling us that there are different dimensions, that there are billions of solar systems within the Milky Way, that the Milky Way is one of trillions of galaxies in the known universe, and that there are other universes. That's what they're trying to do. That's what the flat Earth theory is trying to do. Is trying to debunk all of the truth, all of the real information that is coming forward in these days. And that's what the book of Revelation really means. The apocalypse was never about the end of the earth or the doomsday or anything like that. The term apocalypse means a great revealing, a great unfolding of knowledge coming at the end of the cycle. Again, everything's in cycles, guys. We're ending the dark age. We're about to go into the golden age. So that's what the true meaning of apocalypse is for the book of Revelation. It means the great revealing will take place at the end of the cycle, which is now. All right, so you 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 reconstructed your question. It makes a lot more sense. Okay, so your question, Pia Rojas says some people are being told that some ships will take them, and you mentioned that there will be portals. Can you identify? Okay, so you have to use your discernment because there's a lot of people in our community that are trying to say how things are going to go down and stuff. But I guarantee you guys, there are no ships that are going to be taking us. Okay. All we're doing is when this illusion collapses, all we're doing is returning back to the divine earth that was here before it. That's all that's happening. So we're not going anywhere. Yes, the portals need to open. Now, what the portals are, there are interdimensional doorways that connect, all the different dimensions, from the Terra Earth to the Gaia Earth in the 8th dimension, to the Arimatena Earth in the 12th dimension, and even to the Sophia Earth in the 15th dimension. That's what the portals do. It allows souls to ascend into the higher harmonic frequencies of higher universes, and also allows all other souls to descend. If they're not evolving, they descend into lower harmonic universes. So that's what the interdimensional portals are all about. It's giving us an opportunity to advance into the different versions or spiritual versions of the earth. But yeah, we're not going to be replaced. We're not going to be going anywhere. We are staying here. All we're witnessing is just a translation of a false reality into the real reality, right? That's all we're going to be witnessing. So when you guys listen to people out there who are saying that the ships are coming, that they're going to abduct us, and then they're going to destroy all of the people left behind, that sounds like cultish mentality. Think about it. The Waco, the bombing that took place in Waco, Texas, right? When the people believed that the ships were coming to abduct them, and then they all killed themselves. The people that were wearing white with the Nike Cortez, I think that happened in 1995 or something, or 1980. I'm not sure. The Waco, Texas, cult event that took place. I don't know exactly what year it took place, but the whole premise of that is that this cult leader had everybody believe in the cult that the ship was coming, that they were going to be abducted. And they ended up killing themselves. It was a mass suicide. All right. So be very careful. Use your discernment when it comes to information. And again, why would you want to be taken upon a ship? It just makes no sense. Remember, guys, we are the ETs. We are them. They are us. All right. There is no separation. They are us in higher dimensions. And we're here to integrate, to bring that into the presence. So I am once again playing hide and seek with my cursor. Oh, I found it. This was a quick find. All right, so this is another good one. Christy Maestera. Hopefully I pronounced her last name right. I'm just going to say Christy M. Christy M says, Ishmael, there are people who believe that the chakras are not natural. I could understand where they're coming from, but let me remind you that chakras are centers of consciousness. That's all they are. They're centers of consciousness. And ultimately, when everything is in alignment and we are fully integrated with our multidimensional selves, all of the chakras collapse into one singular light. Okay? The reason right now, the reason it seems like there are 7 chakras and 5 outer chakras is because of the fact that all of the dimensions are pretty much separated from each other. But when this interdimensional doorway opens and we have an opportunity to integrate, all of our chakras collapse into the white light, allowing us to access, the scale, the different scale, all the way to the 12th dimension and up, and everything in between, pretty much. So that's what the chakras are. They're different centers of consciousness that connect us to different realities and different levels of existence. So they do exist. They are real. They are natural. All right. I don't know why people are saying they're not natural, but the only reason why, while they are not fully, they're existing on different planes and they're characterized by different colors and frequencies, and is because of the fact that all the dimensions are kind of, even though they're all integrated or at the underlying level of reality connected, right, through the unified force, technically they are, but right now it seems like all the dimensions are being they're being separated from one another. But again, every so-and-so, there's an interdimensional convergence where all the dimensions align, and all of a sudden your chakras become one singular light, white light. They all collapse. To give you an example, okay, so you know how you have light going through the prism, the glass, and it on the other side of the glass it looks like it's a spectral radiation of beautiful colors, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple, indigo, so on and so forth. Well, right now we are experiencing reality where the light is, refracted on different spectral radiations, right? But as we go back or converge, right, as we aligned, that all those different colors collapse back into this singular white light. I hope that makes a lot of sense, guys, because that's all chakras are. They're just different centers of consciousness that are all associated with the different levels of reality. And eventually, as we undergo multidimensional integration, all of our chakras, all of those colors become one pure white light. And that's what we are. As light beings, we are, beings of light. So therefore, chakras are real. Energy centers, levels of consciousness. Hopefully I was able to explain that right. That's like it's really hard to, I'm going to tell you guys something. It's sometimes it's hard for me to convey highly complex concepts in words. I almost wish I could just telepathically just transmit the information to your minds without me trying to explain it in words. It is very difficult to explain certain things in words for me. I've always had that issue as a kid. That's why I surprise myself sometimes when I'm doing presentations or doing lectures and I'm trying to explain the multiverse and so on and so forth. I surprise myself that I'm able to pull through, I'm able to take these, very abstract concepts and break it down in human language, right? When half the time I just want to transmit it telepathically. It'll just make it so much easier for me. Let's see. Yes, yes. Rico Cursa says the asteroid belt was a planet. It sure was. Well, it was part of a planet. The other part evolved into the current Earth that we are on today. But before the Earth became the current Earth, our planet was 4 times bigger. It was known as Tiamat. And it was, yeah, the third planet from the sun, just like the Earth. And it was inhabited by many different extraterrestrials. And this was a time going back to about 4 million years ago. And there was a space war that took place in our solar system. Again, this was a war that was conducted, that was initiated, by the Martian Maldekian conflict that resulted in the explosion of Tiamat. And so part of Tiamat, which was then known as the Super Earth, the original Earth, could have also been Terra when you think about it. Part of Tiamat became the asteroid belt, and then another part of Tiamat evolved into our current Earth, and that's why our planet is much smaller now. So that explains the asteroid belt. And there's another belt outside of the jovial planets called the Covert belt. Covert belt, I believe. And that was the planet that was known as Maldek. Maldek was destroyed by Nibiru back in the days when Nibiru was supposed to be watching after our solar system, before it was infiltrated by the, Enki serpent Marduk factions. Again, guys, I'm drinking mountain spring water. I don't drink beer. I don't drink alcohol. It's just water. All right. Justin Mercado says, I am more interested in what's under the earth than the flat earth theory. Well, again, those two concepts conflict, right? How can there be a flat earth and no inner earth or hollow earth? It's either one or the other. So what makes better sense is the hollow earth, right? The idea that there are inner earth caverns and land masses and mountain ridges and rivers and oceans. And the earth does have an inner sun. It's at the core. At the core of the earth, we have an inner sun. Due to gravity, right? The people are standing on the land masses and they see the sun just like the way we see the sun, except they're in the inner earth. So the inner earth theory is no longer a theory. It's more proven to be, factual. Not to mention, according to all the records, according to all the channeling information, it is believed that a lot of the inner earth dwellers were remnant survivors of ancient cataclysms, right? The people of Atlantis, the people of Lemuria. And so we could say that that is more accurate than the idea of a flat earth, right? So yes, our entire planet is not only populated with us, the surface dwellers, but there are a numerous number of civilizations that live within the planet. There are also more advanced civilizations than us, at least, that live inside the ocean. We have ocean civilizations that are deep in the ocean, right? Our scientists have only cracked not even 10% of our ocean floors. So obviously some of these advanced civilizations that exist deep in the ocean are in a region of the ocean that cannot be detectable. And then of course we also have civilizations that exist in pocket realities that are there being cloaked. So in other words, you could come out, if you live in New York and you see New York with your third dimensional eye, but in a higher reality, there's a whole new different society there coexisting with third dimension. I know this is hard to understand, guys, but there are other higher dimensions that are actually coexisting with our third dimension. And the only reason we don't have access to them is because we've been limited to only a small bandwidth of the full light energy spectrum. And there's also civilizations, and it is believed that there are other planets besides the known planets that are existing in higher dimensions that also exist within our solar system. So with that idea, I mean, you can imagine all the different civilizations that are compacted just here within our solar system that are existing as well. So again, when the disclosure takes place, this is just, we're only scratching a fraction of what's to come, of what's going to be revealed when, after the solar flash, when, the veil is lifted and we become multidimensional, right? We're going to be able to interact and see all of these beautiful worlds and civilizations that exist within our solar system. Just within our solar system alone, guys, there are a lot of civilizations, a lot of planets that cannot be detected by our scientific instruments. And I believe that some of these planets are not, you could say, native to our solar system or indigenous, but they were brought in from other solar systems, or these are planetary bodies known as biospheres that are piloted, that are coming in from different star systems, and in some cases different galaxies as well. So that explains why there's a lot of concentrated focus here in our solar system right now because of what's happening here on the Earth. I guess I am playing hide and seek with my cursor again. Oh, there it is. Found it. Okay. Toroidal field, says Tony Lopez. Torus field, toroidal field, no flat Earth. Yeah, exactly. Because that's how energy works, guys. How can energy move on a flat disk? It's impossible. And again, for those that are that are being brainwashed to believe in the flat Earth, man, they're really devolving you. They're making you see things from a two-dimensional perspective. All right, they want you to perceive reality as if you were an ant. Look at it that way. That's what flat Earth is. It's two-dimensional Earth. But then again, beyond three-dimensional Earth, we also see what? Different spheres, right? Different realities. So all of a sudden, our Earth is going to expand when this multidimensional integration takes place, right? Solar flash, right? The doorway's open, and there is a convergence of dimensions. All of a sudden, the Earth is going to get much bigger. Much bigger. So we do have another super chat from Leono God. Is it Leonoff God? Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for the donation. And your question is, hi Ismael, so grateful for your work, information, and support. Will all severe health conditions heal during flash? Yes, it is believed so. Yes, because our bodies are all going to be restored when this solar flash takes place. All the people that are suffering worldwide from all kinds of illnesses are all going to be healed automatically, instantaneously at the Great Solar Flash. Can you elaborate on this? Yes, it's been prophesied about, it's been, predicted. I think even Dolores Cannon confirmed this. Speaking of Dolores Cannon, which brings me to another point I do want to mention, but to answer your question, yes, it is believed that the solar flash is going to restore the body back to the original health, the primal, the natural health. And not to mention, if these people are starseeds and they have illnesses, not only are they going to be healed instantaneously, but they're also going to have access to supernatural abilities. All right, their consciousness is going to expand into many dimensions. And then for the Earth Terrans that are suffering from illnesses, not only are they going to be healed instantaneously, but their lifespan is also going to increase a few hundred years. So they will no longer age, and die at the age of 100. They're going to be living for 300-400 years. I wanted to share something about Dolores Cannon, something that she revealed. Dolores Cannon revealed something very important that actually validates and ties in with the idea that there are two Earths, right? You have a 400.5 billion year Earth, 4.5 billion year Earth, which is the original Earth, and then you have a 6,000 year Earth. Well, I believe that the 6,000 year Earth is the false Earth that we dropped in frequency, right? It's not the real Earth, right? This is, like the Bible says, is Satan's earth. Well, that construct, like I said in the other live, for those that don't know what I'm talking about, last week on live, I did go over how we are part of a simulation that was initiated 6,000 years ago, and it comes to an end by no later than 2030 or any time sooner. And so this earth, according to the Dolores canon, will be coming to an end. In other words, it's going to come to dismantle. It's going to come to disintegration. And all that's going to be left is the new earth. The new earth. The original earth. So it's not about us going to the new earth. It is about us coming back to the original earth. That's what I'm trying to say. So the original earth is going to be left there once this 6,000 year old earth comes to an end. And so, that's another confirmation coming from the legend herself, Dolores Cannon. So she talked about the two earths, guys. She talked about the spiritual earth that has been here for 4.5 billion years. And then she also talked about the false earth matrix that's only been here 6,000 years. That's the one that's coming to an end. All right, so Sharon Dippity says, I've never heard you talk about the comforter known as the Holy Spirit. What say you? The Great Spirit, known by many names, the Holy Spirit, the Holy Ghost, all right, according to Christian theology, according to the Tibetan and shaman elders, is known as the Great Spirit. They call it the universal awareness, right? The mind of God. In terms of physicists, in terms of science, is known as the unified field, right? So it is the same phenomena known by different names according to different perspectives and cultures and religions. And of course, in the New Age community, we call it what? We call it the universal life force, right? So it's known by many names, Yes, the Holy Spirit, it is pretty much where everything comes from, That's pretty much God, It is source and everything, which is pure consciousness, by the way. And we are expressions of that. We are reflections of that. So, yes, the Holy Spirit, the Holy Ghost, the unified field, universal life force, universal awareness, whatever you want to call it, right? The Force, right? By Star Wars, the Force. It is a field of intelligence, and it is divine, and it is everywhere at once, which is omnipresent, and it is all-knowing, which is what is all-knowing? Omniscient, right? And it's all-powerful, which is omnipotent. So it is the same phenomena described in all the holy books. But it's known by different names. All right, so we have another question. Thank you for the donation. Is it Leon of God? What is the real story of Genesis? Do you feel the feminine was responsible for the downfall of humanity? Absolutely not, guys. Absolutely not. It was Enki that was the reason why we fell. Eve was tempted. Okay, I want to just be honest with you guys. Enki deceived Eve. Enki had a child with Eve, and that's what gave us Cain. The first reptilian human hybrid blood, inception of whatever you want to call it. It's been they've established their seed several times, even after Cain. So the whole story behind Genesis is actually a consolidation of the history that is contained within the ancient Sumerian cuneiform tablets, consolidated into just a few books. But the reason we fell is because of the fact that there was some sort of incorporation of the reptilian genetics, an attempt to corrupt the bloodline of Adam, which was done by Enki. And so it wasn't her fault. She was deceived, Of course, As Enki's son Marduk took control of our planet, the divine feminine was eliminated. She was no longer venerated. She was put, as inferior. And then that's where we get the concept of, women as inferior. It was all Eve's fault. Mary Magdalene was a prostitute. That's not true. Mary Magdalene was not a prostitute. Mary Magdalene was a saint. She was a mystic. She was an alchemist. She was a, healer. She was a guardian. She was a keeper of the sacred knowledge. So, and then the next part of your question is, will you be writing about this in your next book? Yeah, it's actually going to be going deeper into my next book. That's why it's taking me some time. It's going to be way deeper than my current book, Our Cosmic Origin. If you guys think this book is deep, wait till the next one comes out. It's going to be a lot more deeper. But what I'm going to try to do in the next one is fully synthesize, the true sacred and ancient knowledge of the Emerald Order, not from the CDT plates, which I'm having access to, not from the Emerald tablets, of course. And then I'm going to fully integrate that with, of course, cutting edge science and revealing the true history of the cosmos in greater detail than what I did in this book. So the next book's going to be a lot more dense. So yeah, before Marduk, before Enki, before the serpent, right? There's been several instances where they established their power, right? Their human hybrid serpent seed. We had Cain, right? We also had, who else? We had, after Cain, we had Nabu, the son of Marduk, and then we had Nimrod as well. Nimrod was the last attempt to reinsert the reptilian genetics back to the earth, in an attempt to corrupt the pure angelic genetics of Adam, which came through Seth, gave us Enoch. Enoch gave us Noah, and then Noah was a pure breed. He didn't have no reptilian genetics, as to why Enlil Zeus, not Enki, told him and his family to build a boat. But what they really did was they didn't build a boat. They actually went to a ship. They were taken. The ark was really a spaceship, okay? I know, when the truth comes out, even the Christians are going to be shocked. But the truth of the matter is that the Noah's Ark tale was about evacuation. It was about an evacuation of him, his family, and a few others. He wasn't the only one. It was a few others that were also non-contaminated, right? They didn't have any other genetics other than the pure human stock, that were taken aboard upon a ship. And then, of course, the earth was flooded in order to destroy all the abominations, right? All the undivine, genetic tampering that took place when Enki was in power. And then, of course, to kill off as many Nephilim as possible. But, some of the Nephilim unfortunately survived, which was an abomination. And so, yeah, the story of Genesis is very... it's a condensed version of what's revealed in the Sumerian tablets. But even the Sumerian tablets themselves, guys, were inverted. They were corrupted. So they switched everything around. They made the bad guy look like the good guy, and they made the good guy look like the bad guy. Knowing that a time would come when somebody would, translate the cuneiform text, and then come to find out, according to Arizona Wilder, right, who was used as a sex slave by the shadow government of the United States government. According to her, Ascension was part of the narrative story of making us believe that Enki was our father, and he wasn't. The book of Enki, all that stuff. That's why he wrote the book of Enki, not the book of Enlil, right? It was always in support of the bad guy, making him look like the good guy. And I know it sounds very, very opposing to what most people are disclosing in our community, that are, in favor of Enki being the good guy. But guys, I'm here to shed the truth on the false light. So, when the truth comes out, everyone's going to be shocked, including those people in the so-called disclosure community that have done a lot of research, but yet again, they're taking face value the translated Sumerian tablets, which again were inverted. And yes, Ascension was also part of the Cabal. But now the restoration of the divine feminine is at hand. Now that Enki is no longer, or Marduk is no longer in control of our world. All right, so I have time maybe for 2 more questions. Time flies when you're having fun. I didn't realize it was an hour and a half on the dot. Neo, welcome Neo. How's my brother Neo doing? I'm looking for a very, very good question as the last question. Hmm. Thank you, Rachel. I want to acknowledge Rachel for her generous donation. Thank you. Is it Rachel Streeter? Hopefully I pronounced your last name right. Thank you so much. Can you please talk about the Olympians? Well, the Olympians were the Guardians. It was an alliance that took place between the Syrians and the Pleiadians that gave birth to the royals, the original, you could say guardians of the earth. In this case, Enlil Zeus was at the head of that council, the Olympians. Zeus's mother, by the way, was the queen of Alcyon, and his father was Anu, who was a direct descendant of the original Lyran Syrian bloodline, which was known as the Anuhasi. So the Olympians were actually the good guys. They were the ones that overthrew the Titans who were, tyrannical giants that roamed the earth in ancient times, in order to make life better for the humans, for the evolving humans on planet Earth. So the Olympians, they are a group of guardians that are considered the positive Anunnaki, by the way. So those are the good Anunnaki. All right, one more question then. I think those are all the questions. I don't see any more questions. Oh, there's one by my. Is it? Oh, there's one by Sylvia. Hi, Sylvia. Sylvia Vidal. Thank you so much for your donation, sister. She says, "Hi, Ishmael. How's your son, Maddox? Maddox is doing great, guys. He actually ended up getting an insulin pump, which makes it easier for him to get his insulin, which means he no longer has to poke himself with the needle because he didn't like doing that. So he's doing good. He's eating healthier. He's working out. I take him to the gym with me, and he's doing really good. He's managing his diabetes really well." Well, Sylvia, my presentation in New York is coming up at the end of November. It hasn't happened yet. So I will put the link in the description here. Simone Steele, thank you so much for the donation, sister. Thank you, thank you. All right, so this is a very good question. All right, I'll answer 2 more. by the awakening path. She says, question, is there Lyrans living in any planet of the Lyra constellation in our timeline? That's a very good question. Or are the beings we communicate to us are from the past or a timeline where Avion has never been destroyed? Well, yes, there are different, you could say, versions of our galaxy's history. In one aspect, Avion was never destroyed, and we're still there. Well, different aspects of ourselves, for those that are Lyran, we're still there, coexisting simultaneously at the same time. And so, yes, there are beings living on Lyra, and even in the timeline where Avion was destroyed and Avalon was destroyed, it has been reconstructed after the first pin down of the Galactic Empire by the Galactic Federation of Worlds before it was corrupted by Enki. There was a reconstruction of Lyra. Planet Avion was rebuilt because the morphogenetic field of Avion and Avalon were still there, and so it was reconstructed. And so it is believed that the felines, the original Lyrans, which again, it's us operating on different realities. We're still there, guys. We just don't have access to those realms. But again, when the ascension takes place, wherever you come from, whether you come from the Pleiades or Andromedan, or whether you come from Arcturus, you're going to reconnect with yourself again, and that's what's going to be happening soon. So in a way, yes, we starseeds are the disclosure. It's not going to come from our governments, guys. It's going to come from us. So again, that's one of those questions. Well, which came first, the chicken or the egg? What comes first? The EBS or the solar flash? I think they're one and the same. I think it's going to happen together, perhaps. We'll see. Oh, this is very important. So Tony Lopez is saying, we're already reached 80% of critical mass, which means that's why Israel is last. And yes, that's also part of the prophecy. So the events that are taking place right now in the Middle East is all part of what's, the ascension. It's all part of the prophecies, guys, that we are definitely living in prophetic times. So yes, that's very true. There's a reason why the state of Israel is having conflict at this time. And it's good to pray for both sides, because neither one of them is right. Again, both sides are financed by the same people who are the deep state. So, and I did get a download from the Galactics regarding some of the casualties that took place in Israel. So I was told that a large number of NPCs, which are non-player characters, have concentrated themselves in Israel because of the fact that it is a religious, city of many faiths. And so a lot of these casualties that we've seen, killed in the process of this war, aren't humans. They're not people with souls. It is believed that 75 or 80% of them were actually NPCs, because a lot of NPCs are concentrated in the Middle East. All right, guys, I don't know how you guys are going to take this. I hate seeing innocent people die, but some of these people don't have souls. The NPCs don't have souls. All right, so, I just wanted to throw that out there, because I was concerned, in one of my meditations when I went up to the forest last week, I asked, why do innocent people have to keep dying? And they said, Ismael, sometimes it's the NPCs that are being taken out. And I'm like, oh, wait a minute, what are you talking about? They're like, yeah, there's a huge concentration of non-player characters in Israel and in the Middle East right now. So I didn't want to share this. I almost felt like that was a personal revelation for me. But oh well, I spilled the beans. I've already let you guys in on it. All right, so there is a donation, another donation from Leonel God. Leonel God, thank you so much for your generous donation again. Your question is, can you discuss the Stargates that are currently activating? Yes, one of the biggest stargates, guys, is also up there in the Middle East, right? So all of the wars that have ever taken place, including the war with the Bushes, right? The Afghanistan war, the Iraq war, have always been about the stargates, guys. And of course, unearthing the different, records that were left in those cities, which correspond to ancient Babylon. But mainly the stargates, okay? A lot of those wars in the Middle East have been fought over the control of that stargate in that particular region. Of course, a lot of the other stargates are located in different parts of the earth, but that seems to be a very important stargate. Something to do with the prophecies, right? The bad guys want to use that stargate to let in some negative entities. But the good guys are blocking them, and they're saying, no, you're not going to use the stargate to let in more negative entities. So, yes. Stargates are basically, they go back to the idea that this earth is connected to all 12 dimensions, to every part of the universe. And all of those 12 stargates are geographically spread out throughout the earth. And one of the main ones is in the Middle East. So they're always going after that one first. All right, I ran out of questions. I don't have any more questions. I scrolled all the way to the bottom. All righty. Yeah, no more questions. All right, guys, I think this is it. The next time I go live, it's probably going to be Thursday, not Wednesday. So for the next couple days, I have a lot of things I need to do. But Thursday night, will be back on, perhaps 5 o'clock, just to keep it earlier for those that are in the East Coast. I know you guys are 3 hours ahead over there, so 5 o'clock seems to work for everyone. So I just wanted to thank everyone for being here. All 624 watching. You guys are amazing. I love each and every single one of you guys. Again, I will be putting the link for my book tour that's coming up in November. One last reminder. Salt Lake City, Utah on the 14th, 3 o'clock p.m. Denver, Colorado on the 16th of November. Kansas City on the 18th of November. St. Louis on the 20th of November. Smithtown, New York on the 27th. Farmingdale, New Jersey, I believe. Farmingdale. I think it's New Jersey or New York. I'm not sure. On the 28th. And Boca Raton, Florida on the 4th of December. And Naples on the 6th of December. Naples, Florida. And I will try to get a few more states in between so that way I could go to a few, at least 3 or 4 more places. And if I do, I will let you guys know. So once again, thank you guys for being here. May the God Force be with you guys always. And let's see if I learn how to turn this thing off. 1 second. Bye, guys.